What's up, folks? Maximilian here, and welcome back to the weapon breakdowns of Black Ops 2. Some of you guys might remember this series from the previous game, Modern Warfare 3, and if you watch those, you kind of get a basic understanding of how I do weapon breakdowns. I don't like to do things within like the first week of the game coming out, or a few weeks of the game coming out. I really like to let a gun settle in to finally understand what are the best attachments, what are the best scenarios, and how these weapons are effective based on their stats and based off the amount of time I put into them. And we're going to be talking about probably the best gun in the game, the MSMC. I still think this is one of the best guns in the game, personally. Although some other guns technically are a little bit better stat-wise, but there's various reasons why and when we will be talking about that. So, getting into it. The MSMC, a submachine gun, does pretty good damage, but a very shallow clip. It's got 30 bullets, and compared to some other SMGs, like the MP7, which has got 40 bullets, and the PDW, which has got freaking 50, the MSMC definitely has a difficult time with it running out of ammunition. Talking about some of its base stats, the MSMC at close-range gunfights is going to do about 40 damage per hit, meaning that from a full 100% life, that guy's dying in 3 bullets. If you have a distance fight with the MSMC, it does 18 damage, just like every single other submachine gun at maximum distance will do 18 no matter what, which means it'll take about 6 shots to put a guy down from full distance, which is quite a lot. Like, you guys have seen that sometimes when you're shooting at a guy from a long range. It's just, you just won't die! That's the case with all SMGs, you just kind of have to deal with it. When you're moving around with the MSMC, the close-range damage of the MSMC is what benefits the most. This is actually why I prefer it over some shotguns in this game, because it tends to be more consistent than certain shotguns, even though shotguns can be pretty good. MSMC also favors a few attachments, which I feel really are necessary. Now, with the most submachine guns, personally, silencers kind of favor SMGs. They let you move around and be mobile and get into certain areas of enemy spawns, and then use them to your advantage. The biggest problem with the MSMC due to this, if you're running something like Ghost or you're trying to hammer an enemy spawn, is that if the enemy doesn't know where you're at, usually you expel a lot of ammunition doing so, and by shooting guys in the back or running headlong into fights where people don't know where you're at. And the MSMC has a problem here. This is the biggest issue with it. What I like with the MSMC, and how I personally treat this weapon, I prefer other guns for the rushing into enemy spawn and like running around where they're spawning at. I prefer MSMC for types that are more accustomed to like capping flags or things like that. The reason being is that with the MSMC I would usually run something like a capture class. This is my domination quote-unquote I want to win gun. Is the MSMC silenced with something like not a red dot sight, but a laser sight to increase your steady aim accuracy. You can do that, but I don't recommend the laser sight all the time. I don't find that to be really necessary all the time. Like, they decreased the laser sight accuracy fairly recently in some patches with Black Ops 2, so you might not need to run that stuff all the time. Things like quicker ADS might help you out a little bit more, but I feel that that stuff can also be, if you know what's coming ahead of you, those things are just kind of wasting points for other things that can help you out a lot. Especially in like a domination capture class like smoke grenades and like sticky grenades. Sticky grenades are absolutely necessary for a domination cap class, and the MSMC works so well with this because once you're on B or something like that and you want to hold down the fort, shooting guys around B goes really well because they're forced to come to you most of the time if B is in an enclosed area, and you are on the upper handle of that gunfight because the MSMC does the best at close range next to almost any other SMG. So that's a real good sign because your gun's going to shoot fast. Not as fast as all the other SMGs, to be honest. The SMG or the MSMC does have the lowest rate of fire in comparison to the rest of the SMGs, but it's still pretty good and it's pretty damaging. And based off my personal experience, I've had the most success using the MSMC, but almost always with a silencer. There's no reason to use this weapon without a silencer, in my opinion. Sure, you get that extra range damage, but in all honesty, you're going to run out of bullets after the first time you make noise. Somebody's going to see your dot on the minimap, turn around and shoot you immediately unless you're running like something like fast mags, which isn't really necessary a lot of the time either. You're going to get picked off. So, few tidbits, few quick pieces of advice. The MSMC, like I said, is one of my most successful weapons in this game, and I still find it to be the go-to gun if I want to win in a lot of situations. So for you guys that have been having trouble trying to find that Destiny SMG and looking for something that'll help you out in those domination and hardpoint and kill confirmed game types, this is definitely a gun to stick to, and one that works very good for a lot of situations. But that kind of is the nature of submachine guns in Black Ops 2. So hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of the information and the breakdown of the MSMC in Black Ops 2. If there's a specific weapon you want me to tackle later on, I'll definitely do so if I have my time with it. And if there's something I'm seeing a lot of requests for, I'll definitely consider it for later episodes of using that weapon. And maybe even when it comes to certain other things like special grenades or tacticals, you know, stuff like that, if you guys have requests for that, maybe I'll actually do a breakdown as well, how to properly use smoke and how effective it can be. So stay tuned, thank you guys very much for watching, and anybody that has been tuning in from Respawn or has joined recently from watching my videos on Respawn, thank you guys very much for subscribing and checking out the channel, and let me know what you're looking forward to in the future. My name is Maximilian, signing out.